Hello, Virgo, and welcome to your April 2025 tarot card reading. We are joined on the table with Mr. Marmalade, so hopefully he doesn't get too obnoxious here. So let's go ahead and see what comes through with the Oracle cards. So Virgo, what is it that you need to know for April 2025? Let's see. We have a card that says nothing is yet set in stone, which tells me that there's still an unraveling of things, and it's possible, there are some big choices coming up that's really going to determine the course of everything. And I don't want you to think like, well, if I do X, then Y is definitely going to happen, because I feel like it's still kind of mysterious right now. Neptune is playing a really big role in everything this month, as Neptune has officially, as of March 30th anyway, he's going to cross over into Aries, and we're going to start to see some of that kind of identity change and everything go on. So, there's just kind of a lot of open ends. And I think we need to kind of indulge in that a little bit, because I think it makes taking risks and taking chances and taking big leaps of faith a little bit easier for us, okay? Now I got this groundhog spirit that says it's time to let go, which, maybe there is something that you're kind of hanging on to that's been keeping things a little bit stagnant. And maybe you have something locked in your head. We all do that once in a while, where we just kind of get something stuck in our mind and it's really hard for us to veer off. But I think this is a time where we need to just kind of more consciously say, I got to kind of let that stuff go. I got to get away from that story, get away from that narrative, get away from this idea, so that I can proceed, and so I can progress and grow and evolve. So starting with the tarot, what is it that Virgo needs to know here with the tarot cards? Okay, we start with the Chariot, Five of Coins, and the Six of Coins. Okay, well, I'm actually really happy the Six of Coins came out, because it shows some kind of an immediate, sorry, Mr. Marm, I'm sorry, some kind of like an immediate rebalancing effect, okay? First of all, I'll get there in just a minute, but let's go back to the Chariot, okay? Because the Chariot speaks to your will and your willpower that you really put into something. It's external, right? So we have to work within the physical realm here. We go to the office, we do the work, we sit down in front of our computer, we make the phone calls, we get our hands in the dirt, we kind of work with it physically to bring it to life. And it exerts a great deal of effort, right? We have to put that into it. We might be driven by the Five of Coins. Now, this might be a situation that is current, where perhaps maybe you're struggling either financially, romantically, or health-wise. Or it might be something from the past, recent or far, either way. But this is a place that probably we either don't want to be or we never want to be again. And if it's a place where we currently are, or if it's an experience that we're having, like let's say we're strapped on cash, okay? We're kind of broke, we're having a hard time getting out of this place that we're in, I promise you the efforts of the Chariot are going to help bring everything back into balance with the Six of Coins. The thing with the Six of Coins that is so different from the Five of Coins is that here with the Six, there's like a flow, okay? Where here, this is kind of a weird thing to say, or it's kind of a weird way to look at it. But see how the Five of Coins is like up in that window, up in that stained glass on the building there? In my mind, like when I look at this, it almost kind of looks like you're putting something up on a pedestal. And it's weird to think like, well, why would I ever put the Five of Coins up on a pedestal when it's not an ideal place? It's not an ideal thing. Like I wouldn't idealize it, or idolize it. And yet, sometimes with the Five of Coins, we tend to put that struggle in such a place that it's almost like it's higher than us, or it has more control, or it has more power than us, and it makes us feel more powerless. Okay, so there's not a lot of flow that happens there because we're kind of like weirdly detached from it. Whereas here, I think we kind of embrace where we're at a little bit more, and we overcome a lot of fear, which means, okay, even though maybe I have only a 5 of coins, I'm going to be okay with letting something go out because I have faith that that's going to come back in. Or I'm going to let someone help me, or I'm going to let this money come in so that I can start kind of getting that flow outward a little bit, just to get the flow. I think the goal here for Virgo is the flow itself. Okay. But you can rely on yourself and your work ethic and your intelligence and your skills to kind of generate that flow. Okay, so the goal here is to kind of climb up out of this and to find solutions. So again, if there's relationship problems, there's got to be some kind of exchange, deep conversation. There has to be a give and take, some kind of a compromise and whatnot. If there's health issues, this is really working with people and eliminating habits that don't help you, and allowing other people to provide for you. And, we have to kind of get out of our own way here, because with that 5 of coins, we become the problem at a certain point, right? We become our own problem. And we're trying to not do that, or try to ever be there again, or trying to get out of it. So we need that flow to start going, and we need to be very open, very receptive, so that we can proceed. Okay? All right, what else for Virgo? What else does Virgo need to know for April? We have the Devil. Marm does not seem to like that Devil. Okay. We have the 8 of Wands, and we have the 4 of Coins. Okay. So one of the transits that we need to be aware, there's lots of little transits going on this month. I wouldn't say anything huge. I'd say the really big one was March 30th when Neptune comes into Aries. That's a very big one. So the whole of April, we will have Neptune in Aries, which means that our identities are we're needing to start to shift our identities a little bit, and kind of, like I say, allow certain layers of that identity to peel back and allow new identities to emerge, and identities that are more helpful for us, that can help us to evolve and grow and succeed. But another little transit that's going on is Venus stationing direct. Okay, now she stations direct on the 12th of April, so a little less than halfway through the month. And she stations direct almost exactly conjunct, within a degree, of Saturn. Okay, so Saturn's involvement is very heavy this month because of this. And that shows with the Devil. And I think this really is going to align with that April 12th date. Okay, so something maybe, I don't know, the Devil is, it's multifaceted. Okay, so on one hand, we have like the ego, the temptation, the kind of more base, lower kind of aspect of self. But then on the other hand, we have the more Saturnine energy, which is more about commitment and discipline and focus. And it's kind of like kind of a never giving up kind of energy, right? You literally chain yourself to the goal. You chain yourself to the drive or the ambition, and you never stop. And one of the things with Saturn is there's always a continual climb. There is always continual improvement. And that's one of the reasons why it's so brutal. It's why it's such a hard thing, is because it's just constant hard work, constant mastery, constant training and development. And I'm not trying to make it all daunting or whatever, but I think this really speaks more to commitment and discipline than it does the ego and all of that, unless there's an element of pride that gets in your way and you're not letting something go and you're not allowing things to be malleable with this nothing is yet set in stone, and you're also not letting the flow happen with the Six of Coins, okay? Because if you're not letting the flow happen with the Six of Coins and you experience things getting stuck and you're like, oh, well, hands up, well, I guess, nothing's going to happen, and you kind of get that little attitude of like, well, of course it's not going to happen for me, that's not going to be helpful for you at all. Not that I think you would do that. I just think, there may be some Virgos out there that are doing it. Probably none of you, but there will be some Virgos that do that and say, well, I guess nothing's going to change for me, or I guess this year's not my year, or, whatever people say to themselves. So if you can really lean in a little bit more to the dedication and focus, because that matches the Chariot beautifully, because there's so much external will being put into things with the Chariot already, you might as well just lock it in, or not lock it in, but you personally lock in to the task at hand. And will there be challenges? Absolutely. Will there be adversarial things? Absolutely. Will there be a long list of excuses that you could indulge in? Absolutely. But I think with the devil, it's like you're not going to let yourself just be conquered, right? You're not going to let yourself keep that Five of Coins up on the pedestal. And like I say, I know it's weird to think of that Five of Coins up on a pedestal because we don't realize that we idealize it or idolize it. But sometimes we end up doing that without realizing it. We make the problem so much bigger than us. We make it so much more powerful than us. And so I think the devil is also you kind of taking that power back in kind of like if I can use this oxymoron, like a healthy, greedy way. Feels kind of like a healthy greed. Like I'm not gonna let the problem have more power than me, kind of thing. And because of that decision that you make to do that, I'm seeing with the Eight of Wands that things are going to start moving quickly after that point. So once Venus starts to officially move direct, that's where we're going to start to see a lot more movement. Keeping in mind that on the 16th, Mercury will move into Aries. Okay, so we're going to have that. So, of course, your ruling planet, Mercury, has been retrograde. He's officially stationing direct on the 7th, so we're going to start to see movement there, but he's going to start off moving direct in Pisces, his sign of detriment, but when he hits Aries, I think he's going to fire up, and there's going to be a lot more energy there. So that's going to happen on the 16th. And then on the 18th, Mars is going to enter Leo. So he's finally coming to a close with his whole retrograde thing. And he's finally coming out of Cancer, which is his position of fall, his fall position. So he's not strong there. So we kind of have Mercury moving into a fire sign. We have Mars moving into a fire sign. And I think both of those together are going to really speed everything up, and you're going to start to see things happening quickly. But you're locked in. I don't know that you are necessarily like once you catch the wave, you're not just going to give up, right? Because I'm looking here at the Four of Coins. I'm like, no, you're like committed. I mean, really committed. And that's what this whole rose speaks to me, is like you are so dedicated to what you're doing. Like this really does feel unstoppable to me. Sorry, the dog's outside making some noise. The Four of Coins feels planted. And I'm almost seeing like you're going to plant yourself at your desk, or plant yourself at work, or plant yourself in front of the project at hand. and you're not going to quit until it's done. Like that's how that speaks to me. It almost feels like you're establishing roots. Like you are going to root in, lock in, and you're not going to move until you're done. Like there's a stubbornness here. I think Virgo, you're going to be getting a bit stubborn with your projects. Stubborn with your goals, stubborn with bringing things over the finish line. I just really don't think you're going to give yourself all that much grace. No one's going to be harder on you than you, right? You're going to be the hardest one. And I mean, I think that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that because it's productive. I don't think it's negative at all. I don't think you're being hard on yourself in a bad way. I think you're being hard on yourself in a good way. But this is like committed to a high degree here. So what else for Virgo? What else do we need to know as we move into Taurus season? On the 19th, the sun moves into Taurus. So now we have Mars in Leo, Sun in Taurus. Taurus season really opens up. And we want to remember that on May 4th, so this is not the April reading necessarily, but on May 4th, Pluto retrogrades. So as Taurus season begins, Pluto is starting to slow down. Of course, Mars and Pluto are coming into their opposition as well. And I think generally when Pluto officially retrogrades in May, that's a time when the evolution really starts to take hold, and it's all the stuff that you're kind of preparing for right now. But I actually think Taurus season is going to be exceptionally positive for you, at least the beginning part of it anyway, where we see the Knight of Wands, which has an extraordinary sense of adventure and optimism about pretty much anything that's going on. And I think even just 3 weeks of being so dedicated and locked in and so focused, you're going to be like, wow, look at how much I did, look how accomplished I have, and you're going to be even that much more excited to keep going. Although I think you're not going to be as harsh, because I think that devil is very harsh. So as Venus kind of starts to wane off of Saturn, and then she makes her way into Aries on the 30th, so again, every end of the month, but I do think as she wanes off of Saturn, the Saturn harshness is going to start to deplete, and what you're going to be left with is excitement and joy and that enthusiasm that you need. And you are probably going to start taking big leaps in Taurus season because you've got such a strong foundation here. And then even with the star, right, there's clearly some kind of healing or sense of hope. Definitely there's an element of alignment that's going on. There's certainly, probably a social element here where maybe you're aligning with certain groups of people. And I feel like there's an ease come toward, because there's not a lot of ease in Aries, or at least in April, I don't think. It's not like the easiest time. But I think that's okay. I think Aries season is 8th house, so there shouldn't be ease. 9th house, there probably should be, because it's the 9th house. There should be a massive period of expansion during that time. And this is when new opportunities really start to come in. But see, the thing is that this Ace of Wands is dependent on everything here. All right, so this is what I mean, like nothing is yet set in stone. You can't really see how any of this is really going to go, and you certainly don't have a lot of control over a lot of stuff, but you do have control over your dedication and your commitment, and therefore your own vibration. This Ace of Wands comes at the heels of a lot of this work, a lot of this commitment that you've established here. That's really what all of this is. So that Ace of Wands is certainly something you will take and you will accept. And I think you'll be extremely happy about that Ace of Wands. It's a new desire. It's a new passion. It's a new project. You get to start something new, and that zest, that vigor really, really is strong. And it's going to set the tone for the rest of the astrological year. Keeping in mind that, Aries season, April, is kind of the beginning of the astrological year. Well, really it began in March 20th with the equinox, okay? So we're kind of at the beginning of the year, so we really want to treat it that way and know that the rest of the year is kind of dependent on some of the foundational blocks that we lay here, okay? But all in all, this feels like you end April on a high note and with a sense of accomplishment and a sense of personal pride. Because I think you have a lot to be proud of, because you've clearly paid your dues, you've clearly done the work, you have committed, you've said no to things that you probably didn't really want to say no to, but you knew you had to in order to finish the job, okay? So there were sacrifices. I think, Virgo, you certainly made sacrifices, okay? All right, we are going to pull out clarifiers now. So the clarifiers are what we're going to cover in the comprehensive reading. So we're going to talk for another 25 to 30 minutes or so about all these cards. We're going to really open all of these up and get as much information from them as we possibly can. So if you want to join, all the information is down below. So let's go ahead and get those pulled out for you so you can see what we'll talk about. So we're going to talk about the Chariot card. So what is it that Virgo needs to know about the Chariot? Let's see. King of Cups, Queen of Cups, and Ten of Swords. Remember, time to let go. I just think you kind of get over, another Devil card with the Page. I just think you kind of get over a lot of your hang-ups with the Ace of Swords. Now I cannot disturb Mr. Marm here, so I'm going to put these off to the side. For the Six of Coins, we have the Lovers, another Knight of Wands, and a Knight of Cups. For the Devil, Seven of Cups, Five of Cups, and Ten of Coins. Eight of Wands, we have the Fool, Two of Coins, Queen of Wands, really liking that Queen of Wands a lot in the center. Eight of Coins, the Sun, beautiful, and Page of Wands. I really do think that transition from Aries season into Taurus season is going to be quite lovely. And I think it's because of not only the Sun, but because of Mars moving into Leo as well. Ace of Coins and Knight of Swords. We have the Nine of Swords, Nine of Cups. Your worrying energy is certainly coming forward, but I don't know that there's anything actually worth being worried about, if I'm being honest with you. Okay. All right, Virgo, this is where we're going to pick up. So if you want to join, you are more than welcome. All the info is down below. Thank you so much. I wish you nothing but the best for April, and I'll talk to you soon. Take care.